Good morning, everybody. How are you all? It's reading time again. What I'm going to do is I'm going to record the story and I'm going to be showing the pictures of the pages, and your child can read along with the recording. Okay, I hope you enjoy it and I'll see you soon. Thank you so much for watching.
The Jack and the Beanstalk. Once there lived a young boy named Jack with his poor mother in a small cottage. They were so poor they had barely enough money for food. One day Jack's mother found that she was not left with any of her saving. "There's only one thing left to do," said Jack's mother sadly. "We must sell our cow Buttercup, as she is the only thing we have left in the world." So Jack promised to go to the market the following day to sell Buttercup for as much money as he could. Early next morning, before it was light, Jack left for market. He crept out of the cottage while his mother was still asleep. She was very fond of Buttercup and would have found it hard to say goodbye. On the way to the market, Jack came across a peddler who was willing to buy the cow. "I will buy your cow in exchange for these 5 magic beans," the stranger said. "Plant them and you will grow rich," he assured. Jack's eyes sparkled when he heard about the deal. At once he accepted the offer and ran home to tell his mother. Jack's mother was rather surprised to see him back so soon. When she heard about the magic beans, she was so angry and asked, "How could you let yourself be fooled like this?" She threw the beans out of the window, and poor silly Jack was sent to bed without any supper. The next morning, Jack jumped out of the window to see the dark sky with giant green leaves. Jack's amazement, the magic beans had grown into a huge beanstalk. They were so tall they covered the tiny cottage and disappeared up into the sky. Jack began to climb the beanstalk. The branches of the beanstalk were so thick they formed a ladder, and soon Jack had climbed so high that from where he could hardly see his cottage. At last, the beanstalk grew thinner, and Jack knew he had reached the top. Ahead of him was a long road which led to a mysterious castle in the distance. Jack fearlessly knocked the door and waited. The door was opened by a giant woman. "It is the house of the giant, and I am his wife," she informed him in a heavy voice. "Come in," she said. "You must be hungry. Come and eat," said the giantess. The kind woman gave him some food. Jack had only taken 2 mouthfuls when the whole room began to shake. "My husband the giant is home," cried the giantess, and with that she pushed Jack into the cupboard. The next moment, the giant was in the room. He began to sniff around Jack's cupboard. "Fee, fee, fo, faw, I smell the blood of a boy. Be he alive or be he dead, I'll grind his bones to make my bread," cried the giant. The giantess smiled. "It's only the giant meat pie I cooked for your dinner that you can smell." The giantess hurriedly served his dinner. The hungry giant finished all in no time. After finishing the dinner, the giant hammered on the table and called, "Wife, bring me my hen and that lays eggs. Lay golden eggs, commanded the giant, and the little white hen began to lay eggs. The giant put the golden eggs in his pocket and fell fast asleep. Jack could hardly believe when he peeped out of the cupboard. Seeing the giant sleeping, Jack quietly slipped out of the cupboard, snatched up the hen, and ran for his life until he reached the top of the beanstalk. Jack's mother was overjoyed to see him back, safe. The magic hen laid the eggs, and soon Jack and his mother became rich. Jack brought back their cow, Buttercup. In search of adventure, one early morning, Jack climbed up the beanstalk and reached the giant's castle. Once again, the door was opened by the wife. She did not recognize Jack because of his fine clothes, so she asked him in. No sooner had Jack reached the kitchen than the giant returned. The giantess cried, "My husband is back home." She pushed Jack inside the huge basket. "I am smelling a young boy," cried the giant. "It's only the meat soup which I have prepared for you," said the giantess. As soon as the giant had finished the meat soup, he took out a golden harp from the shelf above him. "Play me a lullaby," the giant commanded the harp. While listening to the sweet music, the giant soon fell into a deep sleep. Jack witnessed everything from the basket's tiny holes. He knew he must have the harp for his very own. Jack saw his chance and seized the harp from the table. But as he ran out of the door, the harp began to play loudly. "Help me, master, help me!" The giant awoke and rushed towards Jack. He thundered after the Jack, roaring, "You stole my hen! You shall not have my harp!" Jack ran with all his might. He reached the beanstalk and began to slide down swiftly. He could not feel the branches swaying. He could feel the branches swaying and cracking as the giant began to climb after him. But the giant was huge, and so he could not move fast. Jack slid with great speed and reached down. Then he shouted, "Mother, quick, bring me the axe." He grabbed an axe and chopped the beanstalk with all his might. With a few more blows of Jack's axe, the whole beanstalk came crashing down, bringing the giant with it. He vanished and was never seen again. Jack and his mother lived happily ever after, together with the harp and the little white hen, and of course their cow named Buttercup. Thank you.